What's up everybody, Super Dorks fan here from Mustang Weekly Update number 20 on this Friday. So why am I not in the Mustang? Well, there's really nothing new with it, so instead of driving around and talking about nothing, I figured I might as well just cut straight to the chase. So there are some things I do want to do though. I want to take the snow tires off this weekend, hopefully. Still want to install the one part that I need to install, just haven't had the time, and the days I did have the time, the weather wasn't very good. So we'll hopefully be doing that this weekend as well. I put a new license plate frame on the back though. That's about it. So nothing really new. I'm actually giving the Mustang kind of a break. Now that I have a press car, I've just been driving the Chevy Colorado that I have for this week. Been driving that around, and I think the Mustang deserves a break. After 10,000 miles in the first few months, it's a lot of driving. So I'm letting it rest for a little bit, and so yeah, no Mustang driving this week, but it's just chilling in the driveway, relaxing. So anyway, let's just get straight to the news. The first thing is about the Mustang's rival, the Camaro. So we have an official announcement for when they're going to be releasing the 2016 Camaro. Actually, the unveiling of it, not the releasing, but the unveiling is going to be May 16th, and it's going to be a pretty big deal. It's going to be at Belle Isle, which is home of the Chevy Indy Duel in Detroit, and it's going to be a pretty big deal. It's going to be kind of a unique event. So I was thinking that it would be at the New York Auto Shows when they would unveil the Camaro, but they already have so many unveilings that Chevy's doing at New York that they didn't want it to be overshadowed by anything else, because already Chevy's going to be bringing out the new Malibu at New York. They're going to be having the new Spark, the new Sonic, and the refreshed Equinox. So they want to have their own event for the Camaro, and so they're doing it at this kind of like an owner's appreciation kind of thing, where they're allowing 1,000 Camaro fans to just register. It's already booked up, so don't even try anymore, but 1,000 people already registered, Camaro fans, and they're going to have like a Camaro day where you can go for ride-alongs and all this kind of stuff, and they will show the new Camaro finally to the world. And so that's going to be very exciting to see. There's no word about when they'll actually be available to buy or anything like that, but hopefully, towards the end of this year, they'll be ready to go. But we also have some more teasers about the new Camaro. First is that they said 70% of the parts are going to be completely unique to it. So not a whole lot of parts sharing. It's not like it's going to be just a bunch of Chevy parts bin stuff. It's 70% parts made exclusively for the new Camaro, and that's it. So it's going to be really, really sweet. And they said the only thing that it shares with the previous gen Camaro are the Chevy bow tie badge on the back and the SS badge. Aside from that, all new cars. So I mean, it's going to be very impressive, and they actually released a teaser video of what it sounds like. So they've confirmed that it's going to have the same 6.2 liter LT1 V8, but it's going to have it's 20% new. So there's going to be all kinds of different things they're changing in the engine itself as well, and so it sounds really good. I'll link in the annotation here to the way it sounds, and it sounds amazing. Sounds exactly like how a Camaro should sound. So very awesome to see all that. And very excited for May 16th. Another exciting car that we're going to have to wait a whole lot longer for is these reports about this new Honda CR-Z. And a few of you actually tweeted me about this. And so Honda, there's these rumors that they're developing a new CR-Z that some insiders say is going to be a force to be reckoned with. And they're saying that they'll probably be showing it towards the end of 2017. It'll be in dealers in 2018. So yeah, it's going to be a while, so get comfortable. You're going to be waiting for a while. But how I was talking in the previous weekly updates about how, the Civic Type R won't be coming to America, but the engine will at some point in some car. Well, this could be the car to get it. They're saying that it's going to have that turbocharged engine out of the Civic Type R in this new CR-Z, but they're going to detune it a little bit so that, the Type R is still going to be the top dog. But they're saying it'll still do 280 horsepower, which is going to be really sweet in a tiny little car like the CR-Z, if they keep the same dimensions that this one had, the previous version. And so yeah, all kinds of exciting stuff though about that. They also said in addition to the Turbo 4, there is no hybrid powertrain anymore. So they're ditching the whole idea of the CR-Z being a hybrid. It's going to be just the turbocharged 4-cylinder, and that's it. So it's going to be very exciting, just a few years off, so have some patience. Another tiny little car that'll be coming hopefully a lot sooner than that is Ford was spotted this week testing the Fiesta RS. And you can see from the spy shots they even had a Focus RS running right behind it. So how's that for some benchmark testing? So obviously it's not going to outdo its bigger brother, but it's going to probably be a very, very hot hatch on its own. So they're saying they're going to have the same turbocharged EcoBoost 1.6 liter turbo they have in the current Fiesta ST, but in the Fiesta RS it's going to have around 250 horsepower is the guess here. And people aren't sure about whether or not it actually will be all-wheel drive. My bet is that it will be, but I mean it could be front-wheel drive still as well. Not totally sure. And as you can see, you can't get any kind of hints about what it's going to look like, because this looks like a normal basic Fiesta with a bunch of rivets and steel wheels. So yeah, no indicators of what it's going to look like, but at least they're working on it. That's very exciting. The rumor is we'll see it next year. That sounds about right to me, and hopefully that's true. And for more teasers, McLaren teased the new sports series again. So, you know, they're going to be revealing it at the New York Auto Show as well. And they gave us a little teaser of what the side of the car looks like, which is very cool. It has this carbon fiber scoop kind of deal going on, sculpted into the door there. And it's very cool. I mean, obviously all we can see is the driver's door there and the rear fender, but it's, you know, it looks really sweet from that one shot. Hopefully we see the rest of it here, maybe a leak before the New York Auto Show, but if not, New York Auto Show's coming up very soon, you know, less than 2 weeks I think, and we'll be able to see what the new McLaren Sports Series looks like. And there's this company called Aeromobile that they've been trying to make these flying cars for years. They've never really come to fruition, and they just showed this new one that they're working on. They're readying it for 2017, and they say they're going to have an autonomous version as well. I mean, it looks like a flying car. They're saying they still have to work on making it strong enough that it will withstand crash testing for, you know, being a car, but also light enough that it'll still be able to fly well. That still sounds like a long shot to me, and I think there's very few people that say, you know what, my car would be even better if it could fly. Like, I mean, most people aren't going to be able to use a flying car anyway. So, yeah, I think people rich enough to own something like this probably just have a private jet. But I could be wrong. But it's cool. I got to commend them for trying. Another car that looks like it could probably fly but actually can't is the Nissan Bladeglider, which we saw teased. I think at the end of 2013 we saw this concept. Everyone was excited about it. And now, you know, Nissan, there's a bunch of executive changes, and their one executive for Infiniti went to Cadillac, the other guy went to Aston Martin. So there's all this mix-up, and the new guys in charge of Nissan are now putting the Bladeglider on the back burner. They said it's not, like, canceled, it's not completely out of the realm of possibilities, but they said it's not a priority right now, and it has to make sense for the company in order for them to continue developing it. So, I don't know. I mean, it looked cool. I don't know, you know, how it would have even driven, but we may never find out. So I don't know if they're going to get back on track with that ever or not, but sad to see. And some cool Nissan news though. The 2016 Nissan GTR was officially announced, and there's some minor changes. It has a 5 horsepower bump, so now it's an even 550 for the standard GTR, and you know, 600 horsepower still though for the Nismo. But the cool thing about the 2016 one is it gets a 45th anniversary gold edition, which is obviously painted in gold. It has some nice wheels on it. Has VIN plates that are like gold, and looks very cool. And so yeah, the one thing nice though about the new GTRs is the price hasn't increased. So that's refreshing, considering it's been going up and up every single year. It stays the same price as it was before. So they're still quite expensive these days though, you know, $111,000 for a black edition and $150 for a Nismo, but pretty impressive performer those still. And some not so great news out of Maserati. They said that they're cutting Ghibli and Quattroporte production because the demand is really slow right now. So they're cutting back on the production of them, which is kind of unfortunate because, you know, it's nice. The Ghibli and Quattroporte, they might not be perfect. I know Guido the Getaway, my buddy, he reviewed one in Germany, the Quattroporte, and he really liked it. And I think they're cool cars. It's a nice alternative to the masses that are all driving Audis and BMWs and Mercedes. It's a cool alternative. And, you know, I always like to see car makers do well. So hearing about anybody cutting back production is always a sad thing to hear. Hopefully sales rebound and they figure out what they need to do to move more Maseratis. So good luck to them. Speaking of struggling manufacturers, Scion, they just previewed their IA sedan and IM hatch, the production versions now for New York. You know, we already had the concept car version of the hatchback that was shown. You know, all we can see are these two little teasers. They don't look super good in my opinion, based on those two teasers, but you know, hey, we'll wait and reserve final judgment for when they actually come out. But those will be coming out at the New York Auto Show as well here in a couple weeks. Another car coming out in New York, all these New York teasers. Jaguar previewed the new XF sedan, so you know they just did the XE, which is the small 3 Series fighter. Now the mid-size XF sedan, you know, the 5 Series fighter, I guess you can say. And so all we have is an above shot of looking down on it with that big glass roof, and we have a shot of the interior and how that looks, which is a very clean, nice-looking design. And so yeah, excited to see the whole car, though I'm guessing it's going to look a whole lot like a bigger version of the XE. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see that whenever it debuts here very soon. Back to some struggling manufacturers. Chrysler just announced that they're withdrawing from the UK market. So a lot of the Chryslers over there, from my understanding, are rebadged Lancias, and there's some goofy kind of stuff anyway, and they weren't very popular. So Chrysler is pulling out of the UK market. But that doesn't mean that all Fiat Chrysler stuff, I mean, Fiat's still going to be there, and Abarth, Alfa Romeo, Jeep, they're all still going to be in the UK. They're just pulling Chrysler, but it sounds like they haven't been selling a whole lot anyway, so probably not a whole lot of people are going to miss them. Also this week, Mercedes, they were out testing the new SL that's apparently receiving a major facelift. So, you know, I think there was some spy shots of an SL that was out running around a few weeks ago that had a mild facelift, but this looks like the whole front end is being redone to look a lot like the AMG GT, which makes a whole lot of sense for those that want an AMG GT but want something larger and more luxurious, a little bit roomier. You can obviously still get the SL. And so that makes kind of a lot of sense. I'm starting to get a little worried, though, about Mercedes designs because they're all kind of blending together a little bit too much. I know they want to have the same kind of styling language, but the AMG GT, I mean, it's going to look a lot like this SL. You have the S-Class, which looks a whole lot like the C-Class already, and you know, I don't know, I'm just a little worried about the noses of them are all starting to kind of look really similar to me. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Let me know what you guys think about Mercedes' recent styling. I think they're all beautiful cars, but they're lacking differentiation a little bit, I think, in my opinion. I could be wrong. We'll wait and, you know, reserve final judgment for whenever the SL production actually comes out. But from these spy shots, it looks a whole lot like they just tore the front end off an AMG GT. And a car that debuted at the Detroit Auto Show back in January was the Hyundai Santa Cruz, and it was received so well that Hyundai's considering making it. And I think they'd be pretty smart to, considering the Chevy Colorado, like I'm reviewing this week, is selling so well that dealers can't keep them in stock. When you know that there's that much demand, obviously that's just because the Chevy is so good and it's, you know, a very popular car, but I think it's also this segment is so stale of these, you know, mid-sized trucks. There's not a whole lot of options. There's the 10-year-old Nissan Frontier, there's the 10-year-old Toyota Tacoma that's just going to be getting a facelift here at the end of this year for 2016, and then you have, of course, the Colorado, but that's it. You know, Ford doesn't have anything, Dodge doesn't have anything, so it's very slim pickings and if you want a mid-sized truck. And so Hyundai coming in with something that looks as cool as this Santa Cruz could be a big hit, and I think they're starting to see the business sense of it. So very good chances you'll see those showing up here in a year or two. And for some Porsche news, the first is that they've officially confirmed they're doing a Boxster Spider after one was spied out testing. And so they said, yeah, we're doing a Boxster Spider. And they also confirmed they're doing a Macan GTS this year, which sounds amazing to me. I'm excited to see that thing. But both of them sound spectacular, and that's great to hear. And some non-official Porsche news. There's reports here saying that Porsche will be expanding their range and adding a whole new model. What that model is still up to debate. So some people, the enthusiasts in the group, are thinking it's going to be a Ferrari fighter because you have the 911 Turbo S with 516 horsepower, and then you just had Ferrari that came out with their 488 GTB, which is 660 horsepower or so. So I think they kind of want a faster car for those that can't afford a 918 but still want something fast. And so that is what some people are thinking the new Porsche is going to be. But then again, the Turbo S already can keep up, I think, with a Ferrari pretty well. I mean, I think the 911 Turbo S can do 0 to 60 in like 2.8 seconds already. So getting much faster than that's going to be hard to do. But who knows? Maybe that's what they're working on. The more likely thing is it's going to be a Tesla Model S competitor, which I think we've been hearing a lot recently about them doing some kind of competitor to the Model S, since that's such a popular car that everyone wants to be in this electric game all of a sudden. And some people are thinking it could be what was rumored to be called the Pagan, which was a smaller version of the Panamera. There was actually a spy shot. Someone found one. It's just like a mini Panamera, essentially. And they said that that could also be the Tesla Fighter. That it's just, it looks like a small Panamera, and it's all electric, along with maybe a gas version as well. But so no one knows really what's going on yet, but there is something cooking at Porsche. So it's only a matter of time before we find out what it is. Some other official news from Volkswagen Group. Lamborghini officially announced the price of the Aventador SV, and it's going to be nearly 500 grand, 493,000 bucks to be exact, which puts it about $100,000 more expensive than a regular Aventador. Which, for a 40 horsepower bump in the suspension and aerodynamic improvements, I mean, some people might not think it's worthwhile, but then again, look at how Lamborghini sells cars. They're always sold out. They're always super high in demand. They could have probably priced that an extra. It probably could have made it $600,000. It still would have had a long waiting list. So I think obviously they're well within the abilities to sell that at $500,000. They'll sell them all day long. So more power to Lamborghini. They got a great thing going, and that's a very sweet car. So yep, 500 grand. And some less expensive 7 horsepower monsters. The Dodge Hellcat, they actually had to place a hold on the orders for them because of unprecedented demand. There are so many people ordering Hellcats that they can't keep up with demand, which is kind of common when a new performance car first comes out, but it's so huge that they actually had to say, okay guys, quit ordering Hellcats. We need to make sure that we can even fulfill the orders that we do have, and then we can add more orders in. So to say that Hellcat is a grand slam is an understatement. It couldn't be selling better, and it's just amazing. So hopefully, people don't get too frustrated waiting for their Hellcats, because it sounds like there may be a longer wait for some people than they originally thought. But yeah, so and that car totally deserves it. It's 707 horsepower for 65 grand. Talk about the bargain of the century. That's amazing. So very awesome to see that. And another thing that looks amazing, Henrik Fisker, who's the guy that designed the Aston Martin V8 Vantage and the DB9, and he just came out with a new take on the Aston Martin V12 Vanquish that he's calling the Thunderbolt. And this is just like a one-off deal that he unveiled at the Amelia Island Concours Elegance, but it looks spectacular. I mean, it's kind of hard to pick if I actually prefer the V12 Vanquish itself over this or not. They're both beautiful cars, but wow, I mean, this guy really knows how to design something beautiful. So yeah, I think Lexus has been having some issues with their design recently. I think with all these scary looking cars, I think Lexus should hire Henrik Fisker, and then they would have probably the most beautiful sports sedans in the world. So yeah, but awesome to see that, and yeah, that guy, he definitely knows how to make a good looking car. Very awesome. And speaking of good-looking cars, the next generation Kia Optima was also teased in advance of the New York Auto Show coming up, and looks a lot like the current version, to be honest. But it is obviously, this is just a sketch, so it looks like a Hot Wheels car. But hopefully it'll get a little more aggressive, a little more futuristic looking for the next generation. And but yeah, I think the current generation looks spectacular. So there's not really much need to go back to the drawing board. But exciting to see the production version of that, hopefully very soon. So yeah, that's it for all the news this week, guys. So thank you so much for watching the weekly update. Thank you for all your support in regards to the press car, and in regards to the previous car review of the '86 Corvette. I always appreciate reading your comments and your feedback. So thank you so much for everything, and I'll see you guys next week. Take care.